It's January 16th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a launch filled with hope but ended in disaster, absolute power crowned in blood, and a law that started Prohibition. Let's begin. On January 16th, 2003, as the world watched in quiet awe, the Space Shuttle Columbia thundered into the sky on what appeared to be a routine scientific mission. Designated STS-107, the launch seemed flawless. 7 astronauts bound for 16 days in orbit, performing experiments far above Earth. But hidden in the blinding fire of liftoff, a silent mistake had already sealed their fate. Just seconds after launch, a suitcase-sized piece of foam insulation broke free from the external fuel tank. It struck Columbia's left wing at unimaginable speeds. No alarms or warnings reached the crew. Inside the shuttle, everything felt normal. Neither the mission nor the ground crew noticed the debris strike at the time. For over 2 weeks, Columbia circled the planet, its crew laughing, working, and sending a final message home, unaware that a fatal wound had been carved into the spacecraft's heat shield. On February 1st, as Columbus began to descend, superheat plasma tore through the damaged wing. Sensors failed and communication cut out. High above Texas, the shuttle disintegrated, shattering debris across 100 miles. All 7 astronauts were lost. The tragedy grounded NASA's shuttle program for over 2 years and led to significant safety changes. It left behind a chilling reminder: in space, even the smallest failure can be unforgiving. On January 16th, 1547, beneath the shadowed domes of Moscow, a 16-year-old boy knelt before the altar, and Russia would never be the same again. That morning, Ivan the Terrible, who was simply known as Ivan IV, was crowned the first Tsar of all of Russia. As priests placed the cap on his head inside the cathedral, the title itself sent a chilling message. Tsar, devised from Caesar, declared Ivan not merely as a ruler, but a sovereign chosen by God, equal to emperors and beyond earthly challenge. The ceremony was dazzling, and gold icons gleamed. Incense filled the air, and bells rang across the city. But behind the splendor was something darker: absolute power, concentrated in a single mind. At first, Ivan's rule was promising. Laws were written, trade expanded, and a standard army was formed. Russia's borders pushed onward, fueling imperial ambition. Then slowly, the transformation began. Paranoia replaced reform, trust turned to terror, and Ivan created a secret police dressed in black, riding through the cities with severed dog heads and brooms, symbols of sniffing out and sweeping away traitors. Thousands vanished, cities burned, even family was not spared. Years later, in a fit of rage, Ivan would kill his own son. What began as a sacred coronation became the birth of a ruthless aristocrat, one who reshaped Russia through fear, blood, and absolute rule. On January 16, 1919, a quiet vote in the state of Nebraska tipped the balance of American history. With that single ratification, the 18th Amendment crossed the threshold it needed to become law. And with it came a nationwide experiment that would drag the United States into an era of shadows, whispers, and unintended consequences. For decades, the temperance movement had warned that alcohol was poison, corrupting the nation. They painted saloons as breeding grounds of violence, poverty, and broken homes. The campaign was relentless, moral, and deeply emotional. In 1919, it finally succeeded. The amendment outlawed the production, transportation, and sale of intoxicating liquor across the entire country. Overnight, something millions of Americans consumed openly was pushed underground, and what followed was not sobriety, but secrecy. Hidden bars known as speakeasies flourished behind walls. Criminal syndicate grew rich smuggling illegal alcohol. Violence spiked. Corruption seeped into law enforcement and politics. And the law, meant to cleanse society, gave birth to an empire of organized crime. For 14 years, the nation lived under this uneasy silence until 1933, when the 21st Amendment repealed Prohibition entirely. It remains the only time in U.S. history a constitutional amendment was erased. What began as a moral victory became a haunting lesson. Banning a vice doesn't make it disappear, it just teaches it how to hide. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next Eerie dose is just a day away.